Okay, everybody, welcome to the Essential Life Workshop. The purpose of this workshop is this book, when it came out, we're now on the 10th edition, was so mighty that we found people didn't know how to utilize all the facets of it because there's so much in there. So, my background, I think the reason I'm in love with this so much in the hospital world, the medical textbooks are tiny print of just words. And I would sit and read them, like on my shift if we had downtime, which wasn't very often. And I loved them because of the information, but they weren't pretty. They were not fun. There was no pictures to go along with what they were talking about. It was just terminology. And to have something like this that is so beautifully illustrated with all the products in here. It's a really great coffee table book, conversation starter when people come over. And it's so easy to look up things with people when they're over and kind of open their eyes and open our eyes to everything that's actually in here. So typically, even if we use this book, there's a couple sections that we go to. We go to the oils and we look at them, and we go to the quick reference guide that has the like A to Z quick stuff, and we'll look at that. But there's a lot in the beginning that I wanted to make sure you knew was in there because they're questions that we have a lot that you have access to, and you've got them inside of this book. So again, if you're just joining us, if you don't have the book with you, Mapuana's put in the chat a link to a PDF. And it's going to have like 90% of the content that we're going to talk about. I took screenshots of it so you could follow along with us. As I'm flipping through the book, I might see something I want to talk about, so there might not be a screenshot for that. But most of the stuff you'll be able to follow along and see with us. And if you have an older edition, it totally works. Grab it. It's just might not be in exactly the same order as we have it, or if I call out a page number, the page number might be different. But here we go. Okay, so the first section, if you just open up this version 10, it shows you a map of how to use your book. So the first section is the how-to section. This is, I want to know how to use what I have. And that is what we want for all of us to know how to use what we have. I can tell you, I mean, how long have I been using oils, right? Like 13 years or something. In preparation for this, I was looking through things and seeing new uses for oils that I hadn't seen before or remembering things that I had forgotten. So it's a really great way to be able to utilize what we have because these are not something that we hold on to and wait for a special occasion or an emergency. These are things that we should be using every day because the reason for them is when we're using the essential oils, our body now has tools to repair. And if they're just sitting in the bottle, they're pretty, but it's not doing us any good. So if we can get in there and use them, then we're going to have the benefits that is the reason that we bought them in the first place. So the first section is the how to. Then the next section is the quick reference. That is if I know what the issue is, what can help me. And then the natural solutions part. I know what I want to use. So that's going to be where it shows you each of the oils. What can I do with it? And then the focus areas. This is the body systems. This is, I know how I feel. What do I do about it? And then there's a living section that's got a ton of recipes, and then an index in the back that has all the research articles that they use to make this book. Okay, so if you get going to the first page, the quick start guide, that is going to give you some tips on topical internal aromatic use. It's going to just give you kind of a brief overview of how to use the A to Z section and how to use the focus area section where it goes a little bit deeper. So that is all outlined for you on that page. And if you guys are going in the PDF, you should be seeing this and you can just follow along. Then if we get to quick start guide, we're going to go to page 8. And that shows essential oil classifications. So this just shows you your different oils, citrus, floral, herbs, spices, and it lets you know the oils in that category and then what the function of those is. So for instance, spices are warming and protective. They're typically good for the digestive system, and it'll show you like black pepper, fennel, ginger, cardamom, those kind of things. So that's what is breaking down there. And if you go to page 11, under why quality matters, what I wanted to show you there is it talks about in this section down here that there's a growing number of companies that are falsely claiming to produce pure essential oils. 99% of the time, these products, they are fragrant synthetic chemical substitutes diluted to replace more expensive oil extracts. So I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but that's an important fact for people to know. And as if you're sharing protocols with people of oils to use, the quality definitely hugely matters. If they're finding oils on, TJ Maxx or Costco, yes, they may be inexpensive, but it's going to be a synthetic composition that can actually do more harm than good. So quality definitely matters. And then if you go to the next, let's go to page 14, essential oil actions. This shows you just like a quick overview. If you're looking for one of these different things, if you're looking to ground, for instance, the oils you'd want to reach for are vetiver, cedarwood, sandalwood. If you're looking to warm the body, wintergreen, black pepper, clove, ginger. So this is just another chart. There's all kinds of charts in here. I know some people that have like office spaces, they will print these out and you can put them up on the wall. And it's a really nice, quick, easy way for people to kind of self-select what it is they're looking for. And then if you go to page 17, under how to use the essential oils, the part that I wanted to highlight is underneath the topical section here, where it talks about taking the time to massage the essential oil thoroughly into the skin enhances absorption. So there's some tips in this book that are things that we might not know are in here. And this is one of them. Massaging increases the blood flow to the area, and it allows the skin to more efficiently absorb the compounds. Also, applying warm heat after the oil application or like a warm rice bag, a moist cloth, helps drive the oils deeper into the tissue. So that's the kind of stuff as I'm marking up my book, I literally underline it. So if I'm sitting down with someone or I need to go back and find it, I know where it is. You can also, this is the perfect time to like grab one of these and you could tab that area so that you could find it again. And you could call it like enhancing absorption or something of the oils. So you could get back and find that. On the other side of the page, here you're going to see a dilution chart, which is a question that we get often, like how should I dilute for babies and children? So that's going to show you the ratio there. Babies is one drop of oil to 1 tablespoon of carrier oil. Children is 1 drop to 1 teaspoon, and adults and so on. Obviously, you can go heavier, but that's a very conservative measurement. Underneath that, in this section here, it talks about another favorite use for essential oils is to incorporate them into the bath. And you can use an emulsifier like shampoo, bath gel, with the oils before putting them in the water, and it helps disperse them throughout the water. So I thought that was a cool tip, or you can definitely use Epsom salt. That's what I usually do. I pour the oils into a cup of Epsom salt, and then I pour that into the water for the bath. And then the bottom there is talking about layering. So layering is the process of applying more than one oil to a location to intensify the effect or address multiple concerns. It gives the example of frankincense. Frankincense is often used as the first oil applied to the skin to magnify the effects of the other oils that were put on top of it. So that's that section down here. I've got that underlined because that's a great one. Frankincense kind of opens the pathway for the other oils to get in because our
Can I
skin.
say something on that?
What's that?
Is it okay if I say something on
Yeah,
that?
absolutely.
That's really interesting because I was always told in layering to put frankincense on last.
Mm,
So that's great information because
okay.
I was always taught from Vivian that if you put it on last, it intensifies the other oils that are with it.
And it
So
might.
this, I know, but I like this because this kind of like sits on top of those oils and just they all work together instead of it just sitting on there and kind of It just makes more sense to me. That makes a lot of sense. That's what I wanted to say.
I love that. Yeah, so frankincense is a magnifier. It's known as a magnifier. So that does make sense. And not only is it going to open up the pathway through the skin, but it is going to boost anything that you're putting on. Um, oh, and then layering, another reason some people do it is they use it to deodorize. So if, for instance, if they have to use an oil that they don't care for the smell, but they need the benefits, you can put that oil on first and then put something you like the smell of on top of it. That's another way for layering. For instance, one of our biggest layering combos that I've done with people is for sciatica, and we have them put frankincense on first, and then past tense, and then deep blue rub. So that layering effect of applying them one after the other really intensifies because sciatica is a deep pain. If you guys have ever experienced it, my sister-in-law had it so bad. And that was when we started doing that, was because she needed relief. And that was one of the ways that she found relief. Okay, so that is layering. And I love that. If you guys have any other stories you want to share as we're going, please do. Okay, so next page is on internal use. So I just wanted you to know this is here. You can definitely tab it up because it talks about ways to use them vaginally if you need to. It does work really good for like yeast infections and things. You can make suppositories for that. Also talks about rectal insertion, so you can address things either way if you need to. And the oils work really well. It talks about adding them to an enema or making a homemade suppository. I know people that have had to do it with kids that, suffer with really bad constipation, and it works well for that. Um, let's see. And then underneath that, it's talking about common dosing. So I just kind of put a little bracket there so I'd find it. And it says a common internal dose for an adult is 1 to 3 drops of essential oil every 2 to 6 hours, but preferably no more than 25 drops. So that's pretty much it. We're using 1 to 3 drops at a time. We can do it and should do it multiple times a day.
Where was that, Beth? Where was that? What
That's
page?
page 18.
I guess I don't see it. Okay, where did you say it was? Right there in the middle. Okay. Okay, thanks.
But no more than 25 drops of the same oil per day is recommended, unless you've got something, really acute going on and you need it, then obviously you know your body, but that's typical. If people ask you like what's safe, it's 1 to 3 drops at a time, multiple times a day, no more than 25 drops of the same oil in the same day. Okay, the next page is always a fan favorite. That is the reflexology page. So it shows you the reflex points on your ear and your hands and your feet. I found the ear part so fascinating. I don't know if you guys have read this before, but with our ear, just like our feet, it's a complete map of the body, rich in nerve endings with multiple connectors to the central nervous system. You can also do it to kind of diagnose if you've got troubled areas going on for yourself or for someone you care about. You can literally rub their ears and see which part of their ear is tender. And then you go look at the chart and you can see like maybe they've got something with their bladder going on, maybe they've got something with their hip going on. So you can use the ear to map out what's going on in the body and see if preventative measures need to be taken. And then you can apply the oil that you need to that reflex point on the ear, which is really cool. I was like, I so want to do this. If any areas in or around the crevices of the ear are sensitive, look at the chart to pinpoint that area of the body that might be out of balance. And it says young children are especially receptive to having their outer ears worked on. They find it calming and soothing. And I know it's one of my favorite things. When I'm in a massage and they get to my ears, I'm like, whew, like it just relaxes my body. So I don't know. I'm like, I'm doing this on people. I'm gonna be grabbing your ears when I see you. So just be prepared. Okay, then it gets to the feet, talks about foot reflexology. One of the ways to find imbalances in the body is to massage all the areas noted on the foot reflexology chart. Feel for triggers or small knots underneath the skin. When the trigger is found, apply an essential oil to the respective location. So I don't know if any of you guys have had foot zoning done before. It's phenomenal. If you can find a good foot zoner, that is a great treat for yourself. It's like reflexology and acupressure or something together at the same time. But they're fast and they're so knowledgeable in what they do, but what they are doing is feeling for those knots and unhappy tissue underneath their fingers, and they do it so much they're quick at it. But we can do it on ourselves, we can do it on our family. And if you get to an area, and we've done this on people, you'll see on the left foot there, it shows where the heart is. I've done this on people that have had heart issues, and so badly they've like developed a callus over that part of their foot because their heart is emotionally, it's like trying to protect itself so hardcore that it's actually physically developed a callus. So you'll notice different things on the feet that then you know that part of the body is struggling. And you can apply oils on that part of the feet, and they can also do it on their body parts too. So that is always a fun one. Okay, the next page talks about the AromaTouch technique. We don't have time to go into this, but if you guys have never had one, this walks you through how to do it. And the AromaTouch technique's goal is to bring down inflammation in the body, balance the body, reduce pain, and stress in the body. So all of these different things are happening through Dr. Hill's amazing AromaTouch technique. And you can learn how to do it, and then you can give someone an AromaTouch, and it's simple enough. You can walk someone through giving one to you as well. So if you want to tab that, I think Shifra's tabbing and I can see her. You can just put one of those sticky notes over here and be like, AromaTouch, if that's something, if that's a section you know you want to go back to. Okay, page 25. This is super cool. You can see how much I marked this up. When an oil seems to be ineffective, when we're like, why is this not working? Okay, so in the section under frequency of use, it gives you an idea that, for example, 1 to 2 drops of an oil every 20 to 30 minutes, if you've got something acute going on, like you sprained your ankle, you've got food poisoning, that would be a time, fever, that would be a time you're using the oils every 20 to 30 minutes for relief. If you've got something, of longer duration, like you've got a cold, the flu, then you're going to be using them every 1 to 2 hours to get them into your system so that your body can get to work. If you've got like a chronic condition, then that's going to be something that you're doing like 2 to 4 times a day. And you want to space it out, when you wake up, midday, mid-afternoon, and before bed. That's just a nice way for your body to constantly have oils to draw from when it's dealing with something that's long-term like that. Under quality, it mentions that it's common practice for brokers to dilute pure oils with synthetic counterparts. And this has been found. They have found from other companies, Melissa oil, for example, diluted with lemongrass. So Melissa is a very expensive oil because it takes a large amount of plant material to acquire. Lemongrass is an inexpensive oil, but they smell similar. So they will dilute the expensive oil with a less expensive oil and try to pass it off to people. That is one of the reasons that we love doTERRA so much, is because everything that's in that bottle is 100% the extract from that plant. It is not diluted with a cheaper version. Other companies, they'll dilute their cinnamon bark with cassia because cassia is less expensive, comes from a different part, and the results aren't the same. It has its own benefits, but it might not be the benefit of what you think you're paying for and using. So for that reason, it's important where we get our oils. Okay, so under the section called body health, I like this part. It talks about many people don't realize that the essential oils work chemically within the body. They're messenger molecules. They're hired to do a job, and they rapidly identify what's needed and start immediately sending instructions to whatever department needs to be involved. If the body is void of the necessary nutrition, then the oils have no way for their powerful instructions to be carried out. How cool is that? So if you've got someone in a really depleted state and you're putting oils on them and you're like, why isn't it working? It could be they don't have the lights on. It's like the electricity bill has not been paid. As much as you flick that switch on and off, it's not going to turn on. The body needs electricity. Where do you think great nutritional electricity comes from? Put it in the chat. VMG. Yay. Yes, that's why. And Schiffer's grounding. Absolutely. These are all things we need to do. Mapawana, foundational wellness. That is where we create the foundation for the oils to work. And so I've experienced this. I haven't experienced it with as many people, probably because I usually have them on Lifelong Vitality or VMG out the gate because I think it's so important. But I've heard of it from others, like in, the Facebook groups and stuff. They're like, I'm giving them all these oils and it's not working. And what it is, there's no foundation of nutrition to begin with for the body to get to work. So that's just a really important piece. If you're ever trying to help someone and you're like, it's not doing what it normally does, that was probably a missing component. And then that last section there under lifestyle, lack of sleep or proper consumption of water, a lack of regular exercise, acid producing beverages, all those yummy things we love. High levels of stress may be overriding the benefits of the essential oils because the demands on the body are too high. So that's another one to consider too. So many people are amped up on so much caffeine these days, from pre-workout to energy drinks to all the things they're doing. There's just like insane amounts of caffeine consumption. That is going to interfere with what the oils can do because they're taxing the liver. So that is something to keep in mind. That's another question to ask people. They're like, it doesn't work for me as they're like jittering down the hall. They might have to back off their caffeine a little bit. Okay, so that's a good page. You might want to tab that page. The next page talks about emotional well-being. This could be obviously an entire class in itself. But the third paragraph down, it talks about embedded in the surface of the cell membrane are protein molecules known as receptors. These receptors face outward and continuously scan for, communicate with, and solicit needed chemicals that exist outside the cell. It's pretty incredible how our body is constantly working. There are so many processes going on at the same time. Like we couldn't fathom them if we tried. But that is what's happening on a cellular level. If you look in the paragraph that talks about the messages of emotions, it says the emotions triggered by a perceived threat only needs to be perceived. That's how strong our mind is, doesn't even need to be real. Initiate the release of specific messenger molecule chemicals. And when the hypothalamus believes it to be true, it starts a factory production of things like cortisol and, bringing down our dopamine or whatever is happening inside of our body. So the bottom line, emotions trigger cell activity. I know you guys know this, but if you're ever talking to someone, we know that emotions are the root of 90% of the physical things we have going on. But for some people, this is a new thought. So if you need to kind of show them something that will open their mind to this, this is the section I would take them to, because you have an experience, then you've got an emotional response. The amygdala sets off an alarm, and then it starts producing chemical cascade based off of those feelings. Very cool thing is we can definitely counteract that with the oils, and it works through our olfactory system, which is our sense of smell. And that is one of the quickest ways the oils work anyways. So you're working on the body system that's responsible for 90% of our ailments, and we have a tool that works extremely fast in that area. So that's why working on the emotional side with people is really important to do. Okay, now we're going to go to page 31. And there's a section down at the bottom there that says application methods also impact the body's response to aromatherapy in emotional health and healing. Star that, I put a star next to that, talks about aromatic, topical, and internal use. in the emotional category. Aromatics, the fastest way to access the mood center of the brain. Topically, assist the body in moving from a stress response to a repair and restore response. So anytime you're able to pull yourself out of fight or flight is incredible. And topically is a great way to do that. And then internal use supports healthy chemical reactions in the body, nourishes the cells, and releases toxins. So that's kind of new in my mind of like the ways to use the oils for on the emotional side. So I thought that was really cool. So you might want to tab that too. Do you guys have any questions? Okay, the next page, you go to page 32. This is a fun one. These are the emotions index. This is always a fun one for people to look through. So you can look at your essential oils and then look at what emotions they address. It's going to show the unbalanced emotions, so the emotion they want to feel less of, and then the balanced emotion, what they want to feel more of. This is a great chart for teenagers. It's much easier for them to like look and point than to, talk about deep feelings. But you can have them just look this over and, on their own time and then just be like, what oil do you feel like sounds good to you? And they don't need to tell you why. And they can just pick something out and chances are it's going to help them and they're going to feel better. So that's the emotions index. It goes on for a couple pages. And then, okay, preparation on page 37. Okay, so this is really important because this is true for all of us. If it is out of sight, it's out of mind. And when you're upstairs and it's downstairs, are you going down to get it? And if you're downstairs and it's upstairs, are you going to get it? Chances are probably not. So easiest way is keep the oils where you use them. We've got oils by the coffee maker because that's the first place we go in the morning after our VMG and collagen, of course. But we've got stuff there. I've got oils in the bathroom by our toothbrush that we use when we do oil pulling. I definitely have oils by my bed because I'm not a good sleeper. So you just keep them around. Mapu, you got something?
That is one of my favorite things to do is go to another fellow doTERRA oiler user and just scope out their whole house as to how they set up their oils so they could be successful with the usage because you're always picking up so many ideas, you know?
I love, yeah, so smart. We've got oils in the laundry room, oils by each of the diffusers, change them out, seasonally, but keep them where you're going to use them. So keep them around the house, in your purse. The little keychain things are fantastic because you can take 8 of them with you at a time. And you don't need a lot, right? But when you need a few drops, it can make all the difference. Some in the car, diaper bag, stroller, just keeping them where they're accessible. And that's something that I try to help new people with as they're getting started so that they can use them. Because when you don't have them on you and you need them and you're out, that's when you're like, ugh, like I really wish I have them and they're at home. So keeping them with you is really great. Okay, on the next page, 38, is talks about supercharging your oils. So these are different ways that we can supercharge our oils. First one is you can add heat. So if you've got, after you apply your oils, you can do a hot compress and drive the oils in deeper when you add some heat. That can be like a warm washcloth. It can be a bag of rice that you've warmed in the microwave, something that's going to add some heat. You can add frankincense. Frankincense enhances the therapeutic effects of many protocols and it helps with the healing. Massage, we talked about that, bringing circulation to the tissues and combining oils that complement each other. So those are all different ways you can supercharge your oils. The next page is talking about safety and storage. The part that you can tag that if you want to go back through here. Obviously, it talks about photosensitivity. So there are oils, the citrus oils that you don't want to put on topically on your skin and be out in the sun. And there's some different safety things in there as well. And if you're just joining us, if you grab the link that Mapu put in the chat, you'll be able to open up a PDF and see what we're talking about. I've got a lot of the screenshots in there. You have to download it first because it's a big file. Okay, the next one is page 43. This is blending and layering. This gets really deep. I don't get that deep with my oils, but some do. If you really are into making blends and you want it to be a certain composition, you can totally work on top, middle, and base notes. I'm usually working on an outcome. And so that's how I combine my oils together. But if you like layering, some of you guys are super talented at making really great smelling blends. That's how you do that, is by combining different amounts of top, middle, and base notes. So if you're someone who likes to do that, that is the section for you. And then page 48 is blends well with. So when it talked about supercharging your oils, what they blend well with, that is where you would find this. So if I was going to use, looking at Magnolia, I love Magnolia. It's so great for stress and overwhelm. I think it was Joni that told me that. And it was funny because when it first came out, I didn't care for the scent. I don't know why. Probably because I was so stressed, I needed it so badly or something. But after she told me that that's what it's good for and she applies it, you can apply it on your chest. I started doing that and instantly fell in love. But if I wanted to supercharge that, you could combine that with jasmine or neroli, rose, sandalwood, and it makes sense, right? We all know those floral oils are like a hug. So this is the section to know what blends well together. Okay, next one is page 52. This is one you're going to want to tab for sure. This is substitutions. This is probably one of the number one questions we get, right? We're like, use this oil, and they're like, I don't have that one. And you're like, oh, okay. So if they needed basil, but they don't have basil, they could use Aroma Touch because Aroma Touch has basil in there. They could try marjoram or rosemary. If they didn't have black pepper, they could use copaiba because black pepper is good for pain, and so is copaiba. I'm guessing that's why that is on there. But you can see in here, if someone didn't have, clary sage, they could use jasmine, magnolia, Roman chamomile. This is a cool section for that. Substitutions. Okay. The next page is probably one I would tab also. Page 61 is the oil properties glossary. And that's going to go through and explain all the words that we might not understand when we need to work on something. So it's funny, I even looked at how to pronounce this, and Mapu, you're probably gonna have to tell me. What is the one that increases milk supply? It's called galactagogue or something is the scientific name for it. But you can see in here, if you're looking for something hypotensive or hypertensive, you're going to know, is that raising or lowering the blood pressure? What's a vasoconstrictor? What's a vermifuge? What's a decongestant? So a lot of these we know because it's in our vernacular, like we know what an antidepressant, antibacterial, but anticauteral, removing excess mucus, you might not know that. So this is where you can see the glossary of all the medical terms. Then on the next page, this section I really like too. This is oil properties. So for instance, if I've got someone like us or kids or someone else's kids that need to get rid of the mucus in their body, that is mucolyptic. You'll see that on page 63. Anywhere there's a dot going down that chart, those are all the oils that have mucolyptic properties. So I used to work off of this chart a lot, and that's how I would make blends for people. Like if I knew we were working on mucus and inflammation, like they had a really bad cold and a cough, I would look through those sections, look through the different oils that help with that, use the oils that I had that were inside of that list and create a really cool blend that's going to have all kinds of constituents in there to help their body work on that problem. So this is a really, really cool one. Okay. Then on page 67, this is the beginning of section 2. This is the quick reference section, your A to Z quick look section. So it shows you on this page if you're using them aromatically, topically, and internally. It gives you the little key for that. So aromatically is going to be the nose, topically is going to be the hand, internally is going to be the glass. And it also gives you tips on how to use it in those different ways. Like internally, place 1 to 2 drops under the tongue, hold it briefly, then swallow. Or you can add a few drops to a glass of water, or you can put it in an empty capsule, or you can put a drop on the back of your hand and lick it. So it's going to give you all the different ways that you can use them. It also talks about frequency here too. So this is a really nice, I mean, you could even like screenshot this and email it to people, you know, as you're getting them started with oils. So for acute concerns, applying the oils every 15 to 20 minutes until the symptoms ease, and then every 2 to 6 hours. Perfect example of that's like for a fever, every 15 to 20 minutes, and then every 2 to 6 hours. For ongoing support, then it's a couple times daily for the rest for conditions. When you go to the next page, ailments index A to Z, the one that looks like all the chart with the things on there. This is a fun section and probably where you'll spend a lot of your time. This is a quick way to look at quick fixes for all kinds of concerns. So at the top there, you'll see step 1 is to look up your ailment. Step 2, choose 1 or more of the recommended oils. Order of recommendation is left to right. So the strongest recommended oil is going to be on the left to the right. And then the focus area, number 3, is you can look in the corresponding focus area, it's also known as body system, and get like some deeper information, more protocols, more options as well. So if you need a quick answer, you can look here. So we're going to do an example. We are going to look up allergies. That's on page 69. So you can see on there it recommends lemon lavender. We're very familiar with that, right? Also Roman chamomile or Melissa, peppermint, Revitazine, breathe. So any of those you could offer to somebody that is dealing with allergies. But then we're going to go to page 306 in the body system section if you want some more information and recipes. So page 306, and these should be in your guys' PDF too, so you can see them, is a whole section on allergies. You'll see on top solutions on page 307, that's where it talks about the oils that were recommended, and it gives you kind of the reason why. So if somebody's like, well, why would you use lemon for allergies? Well, because it decongests and it reduces mucus. You can use peppermint because it discharges phlegm and reduces inflammation. The reason that lavender is good is it's a natural antihistamine and it calms irritation. Why is there a line? You know what, Wendy? I don't know. That wasn't in the previous books that I know of. I think it's like a go together, if I had to guess. I think that means that's like you would always do lemon and lavender because they really go together for this, for those reasons, to reduce the mucus and to calm the histamine in the body. So I think that's like a twofer when it just had them close together like that. So it's going to explain why the single oils were recommended, why the blends are recommended. It'll give you ideas on supplements to add in for additional benefit. And then on the next page, you're going to see some protocols. So the top one there, Allergy Power Trio, that's one that we use all the time. If that doesn't work for somebody though, and you're like, oh, we tried them, it didn't work, oils don't work. Not true. It just means that their root or what their body needs might be different. So you can look down and it talks about the allergy relief combination. That one has Roman chamomile in there. Or there's that allergies blend that has blue tansy also and Melissa. So just try different things with people. Everybody is different. And just like if you've got asthma, they may prescribe an inhaler that doesn't work for you, and they might have to try a different one. That's because everybody is going to accept things differently, and it's the same when we're working on anything with someone.
Hey, I just learned something new
Mhm.
on eye allergies on the page that we were at. I have severe dry eye. and it's always like tearing. And the other day I used lavender and it really worked. It helped. But here it also says blue tansy under the pads of the index toe and middle toe, and then rub it in. So love it. Now I get to improve on what I'm already doing.
Oh, you'll have to let us know how that works. Because I remember you mentioning the lavender, and now, yeah, it makes sense, right? That's cool. Okay, so flip back to the A to Z section. We're going to look at on page 74. We're going to look at brain fog. Anybody here got brain fog? Gee. It's
Yes.
something. Okay, good. I like I'm not the only one. Okay. So oils recommended for brain fog, peppermint, motivate. Why? They got the mints in there. It's oxygenating to the brain. Spanish sage, rosemary. We're going to talk about those. Breathe, Shinrin Yoku. Okay. Those would all be great ones. You could grab them really quick and use them. But we're also going to go to page 322 and we're going to look at the brain. Okay. So under the top solutions, you're going to see why. What is frankincense and Spanish sage good for? Promotes optimal brain function and repair. They, along with sandalwood and copaiba, they cross the blood-brain barrier. They're anti-aging. So those are great ones. Rosemary and patchouli enhance brain cognitive performance, relieves mental fatigue, and boosts dopamine levels. So you can see here, like you can start creating your own blends and you can rotate through oils. You can be diffusing them. I just put a bunch of these in our Dawn humidifier after I was reading the book the other day and had that going. Oh, it smelled amazing. And it was like so fresh in here. So those are fun ones, but flip the page and look at these blends. They've got a bedtime brain detox. Do you know how awesome that would be to diffuse next to your bed? So you've probably heard they only discovered this a number of years ago. It wasn't that long ago. That while we sleep is when our brain cleans itself. And that's why it's so important to go into that REM and have the restful sleep, because if we're not doing that, the brain doesn't clean itself. If the brain doesn't clean itself, what do you think happens? You can unmute or type it in the chat.
It stays foggy and clogged.
Foggy and clogged. Yes.
Uh,
And
Alzheimer's.
exactly. Alzheimer's. Hello, Alzheimer's. That's what they're finding. It develops plaque, just like your teeth. And it makes sense, right? It literally washes while we're sleeping if we're getting that good sleep. That's why sleep is so important. But yeah, it develops plaque, and that's what they're attributing Alzheimer's to. So think about that bedtime brain detox and diffusing that next to your bed at night and how great that's going to be for all of us. Mapu?
Wow, I've never seen an Alzheimer's support protocol in a book before.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, Alzheimer's. And you'll see there's one in the nerve section too. But this is like when somebody's like, we've got early onset, or I'm, caretaking my spouse. What should I have them doing? These are ideas. This is part of their daily routine. This is like their food. Their food is actually less important than this, honestly, right? Like how much nutrition are they actually going to get from what they eat? Very little. But if they start working on this, then the brain has the good nutrition. So
In
when,
Sandpoint, there will be rainy weather with a high of 45 degrees Fahrenheit and a low of 36
Hold on.
degrees. Also, there's a high wind watch in effect from Tuesday, December 16th, 10 p.m. to Wednesday, December 17th, 4 p.m.
thank you. Okay, Alexa's got to tell us the weather. That's nice. Okay, so but the foundation for the Alzheimer's support, it gives you the supplements to go along with it. And then that cognition boost blend, I also thought that was really cool. Like how great to make a roller of that and roll it on the back of your neck in the morning. Or you can, like I've got a bottle that I just take and mix oils inside the bottle and I put stickers on there so I remember what's in there. You can put all of that in there, and then in the morning when you wake up, like you're inhaling that and sucking that into your brain. That's going to be really good stuff. So I loved that. I thought that was super cool. Okay, so now we're going to go to back to the A to Z section. It's our last one.
Page was that? What page was that?
It's going to be 104. And we're going to look at Parkinson's because that was one someone asked for. Okay, so for Parkinson's, page 104, copaiba, frankincense, DDR prime, rivitazine, marjoram, bergamot, melissa, blue lotus. Those are all quick recommendations. But then we're going to go to page 407 and go to the nervous system. So it's going to give you the overview of the nervous system, page 408, those top recommended oils. So like frankincense and copaiba provide nerve protection and support regeneration. That's why they were recommended. DDR prime also regenerates and protects the nerves. Intune would be a good one to support the central nervous system and bring down inflammation. But what I wanted to show you is on page 410. And that is where it has the daily program for nerve health. So this would be anybody with like neuropathy, MS, Parkinson's, anything that targets the immune system or the nervous system. This would be a good daily protocol for them. So what that means is that is the everyday non-negotiables, and then the blends are things that you can add on top of that. So if there's someone dealing with neuropathy, you could do the nerve damage repair or the neuropathy relief. If they've got shingles, then you can make like the shingles cooling spray because that definitely affects the nerves. So I just want you to like kind of see, do you kind of get how to use the quick guide now and then go deeper? We good? Okay. Sweet. Okay, so now we're going to go to page 118. And this is the section that starts each individual oil and blend. So if you go to page 120, I wanted you to just see that little white box there because every oil has 3 words written with it. And those were intentionally selected, I'm guessing probably by Laura Jacobs, if I had to guess, or the Goddards. And it reflects the essence and unique character of that oil or blend. So it's just kind of nice. Like, what's the overall feeling that this oil is going to help produce in your body, usually on the emotional side? So we're going to look at abode. That's the first one there. And what you'll notice, I kind of just want to break down these pages for you guys so you understood all the information that's on here. So if it's a blend, it's going to have that main ingredient section where it shows you all the oils that are in that blend. So that's a really easy way for you to see everything that's contained within that blend. The substitute with is, okay, I scan for abode. I don't have abode. What could I use instead? You could use any of those oils there. And then if there's any safety recommendations for that oil, then it'll say it here. So with this one, you would want to avoid sun exposure for 12 hours afterwards, after applying it. Abode, if you guys aren't familiar with it, it was formulated and studied to be the blend of oils that most effectively killed bacteria, germs, and mold inside of a home. So that's why each of those were chosen, and it's infused into the laundry detergent because that's the kind of stuff we want to be killing when we're cleaning and washing our clothes. So you can tell like lemon eucalyptus, cassia, eucalyptus, those are arborvitae, really like good antibacterial oils. And then top uses, it's going to show you how you can use the oils. And then if it's got the nose, it's recommending it aromatically. The hand is topically. And if it shows a cup, that's going to be internally. So flip the page to adaptive. The thing I wanted to show you here on this one is down at the bottom. It refers to sweet gum because sweet gum is inadaptive and it's not one that we have on its own, so you might not know what it's good for. And it is a lesser known essential oil with a sweet forest-like aroma, and it has a chemical composition reminiscent of a mixture of copaiba, frankincense, and Douglas fir. So I just thought that was kind of fun to know because sweet gum was just added to another one of our products. Do you guys know which one?
Past tense.
So it's been added to the past tense that was put into that stick formula for headaches. And yeah, so you can think of the properties of it. If it's similar to copaiba and frankincense, it's going to be working on inflammation. It's available. Oh, is it available again? Or are you asking, Yvette? Oh, it is. Sweet. Okay. Get some more of that. Awesome. Keep that one in your purse. That's a very good one. And so many people have been scanning for it lately. It's crazy. I think it's the stress because that's the tension blend. Thank you, Yvette. Yvette got two. Okay. Next oil we're going to go to is basil. That's page 131. So now we're looking at a single blend. So you'll see underneath basil, it talks about where it comes from. It comes from the leaves of the plant. It's steam distilled. It's sourced in Egypt. It talks about the main constituents in there. So if you're someone who's looking for a particular ingredient because you read about it on Instagram or wherever, then you'll be able to find the constituents on here, like linalool. Linalool's a really popular one now because everyone else is figuring out how amazing it is for our cells. So basil is high in that. It'll tell you the top properties. So under top properties, it's going to tell you scientifically what that oil is known to do. And now you have that chart to go back to. If you're like, I don't know what antispasmodic means, you could go look at that chart and then you would understand what antispasmodic means. It'll tell you what other products of doTERRA it's found in. That's really helpful. So basil's in Align, it's in AromaTouch, it's in Motivate and past tense, and what you could substitute it with. So a ton of information on each of these pages. And then under top uses, the reason I wanted to show you basil is sometimes like it's a lesser known one and it's really good for our adrenals and chronic fatigue. Earaches, it's great for earaches. You just apply a little bit behind the ear. You can use it for bug bites, ovarian conditions. So just a cool oil and so simple, right? We can grow basil. Okay, the next one we're going to look at is bergamot on page 133. And you'll notice that I love bergamot. I have like a really love relationship with it. If you guys have it, if you got it out, get it out and smell it right now. I put it in my water and I drink it. It really helps with, like it says in those 3 words, it helps with uplifting, assuring, and restoring. So for my nervous system, bergamot works really well. It's also one you can use for sleep, which is not something that you might think of. Typically, we think of more lavender type things, but it's good for addictions. It boosts dopamine, good for self-worth issues, depression, good for fungal issues, coughs, bronchitis, insomnia, stress. So it's a really cool oil and citrus oil. So this one is highly photosensitive though. So you don't want to put it on topically when you're going to be out in the sun for up to 24 hours. It's the most photosensitive one. So I always say, put it where the sun don't shine. You can stick it, underneath your shirt or something, or just drink it.
So you can put this in your water? I've never done that with bergamot.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep. So we always have glasses. I swear every time anybody comes into the kitchen, they grab a new glass, right? So you end up with 6 glasses on the kitchen counter. The kids will walk by and smell it. And if they smell bergamot, they're like, oh, that's mom's. That's not mine. Fun. Ooh, okay. The next one is birch. So flip the page to birch. Because as I was looking through here, oh, and by the way, bergamot comes from Italy, which is very cool. It's a family-run operation. It's really awesome. Birch comes from Canada. Comes from the wood, obviously. It's a tree, a very hard tree. So we have birch on our property, and we burn it in the fireplace. It's one of the hottest burning woods. So we save that wood for the coldest days because it pumps out heat, which is crazy. So all the trees have their different things. Birch is invigorating, activating, and soothing. You can see the top properties. Analgesic is what a lot of people use it for. And then top uses like connective tissue, broken bones, tooth pain, arthritis, fever. I've never used it for a fever yet. Sciatica. This was what I was thinking of because we have someone on our team that's been dealing with kidney stones. So kidney stones, gallstones, bone spurs. It has a more uses than just pain. Oh, and the congested lymph. I thought that was cool. So it can help with the lymphatic system. The thing I wanted you to know about birch, because it comes in a 5 ml, it's very rare. doTERRA is the only company that has pure birch, and it comes from, we didn't have it for years and years. Sometimes it would come in the convention box, and then we didn't even have that for years and years because all the other birch on the market is synthetic, even though they want to call it birch. It's usually wintergreen. Because there wasn't a distiller who could do it in the right way. And then they found that place in Pennsylvania. And so now we're able to actually get birch. So it only comes in a 5 ml. It's $59 normally, but you can add it on to the collagen or lifelong vitality for $33. So I want to make sure you guys knew about that because that's like a little hidden gem right there.
Hey, Beth, can I say something about birch?
Yeah.
Birch is one of those oils that is available on the co-impact sourcing trips for doTERRA. So if you would like to go to the facility where they distill this oil and learn all about it, you have the opportunity through our company, doTERRA. You will be able to go into the forest, talk about the tree, score the tree, smell the oils, the big gigantic vats that they put the product in. It's an amazing trip. And so if you ever get the chance, highly recommend that you do it because birch is a pretty powerful oil and it really helps you come to a whole new appreciation for this particular oil.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. And you've been there, so you know.
Yep. And just like Joan says in the trip, she would love to plan a trip there for our team. So it's in Kane, Pennsylvania. Maybe one day we could put a little group together and go. It's such a fun thing. And my husband was not a believer in birch until he went on this sourcing trip. And now he uses birch every single night for all of his sore spots on his body. So highly recommend it.
Oh, I love that. And what a special experience for him. Like that's impactful. You don't forget that. I also think it'd be super fun to go there as a team, and there may be a way to do that coming next year. So stay tuned. Definitely want to be at leadership and find out. Okay, Jana said she read an article about Earl Grey helping with cholesterol. Okay, that's cool. And bergamot is what gives Earl Grey its flavor. Absolutely is. That's my favorite tea. If I'm not going to have coffee, I'm having Earl Grey.
Can I make a comment?
Yeah.
So I don't remember who said this, but it's been very helpful for me to remember that birch for bone pain, lemongrass for ligament pain, and marjoram for muscle pain. So that's how I kind of remember those in case anybody else is trying to figure out what to do.
And isn't that cool that the letters happen to tie together? It's cool. It's easy to remember and it's true and it's cool.
Guys, go to my Facebook page and see what lemongrass has done to somebody who had their cancer port taken out and the blood rushed down her arm and her whole arm. She's one of my clients and she's also doTERRA. She used a lot of doTERRA products. She's a customer. Her whole arm was just dots and clunks of red blood clots. And I told her just to use the lemongrass. And I went through the process. Well, she kept sending me pictures. And in 2 weeks, it's extraordinary. It's just extraordinary. So go to my Facebook page, Chef Nancy.
That's amazing. And like, how much is lemongrass?
$15. I put that in the post for $15. She's absolutely amazed. I was with her when she was talking to her doctor, and her doctor's like, I heard her doctor go, I don't know. Like the doctor did not know what to do, and she got the phone. I'm like, lemongrass. I gave her a little sample. I'm sure she ordered it by now. And the next day, it just gradually, and it went from the arm was covered to just little tiny little specks now. It'll be gone within 2 weeks.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. That is so cool. Okay. Uh, where was that? Okay. Oh man, there's so many to talk about. Okay, I'm gonna have to cut this. Okay, frankincense. So your slides, you guys, I'm gonna have to like skip through some of these. There's too many good ones to talk about. But I want to talk about frankincense. And the reason I want to talk about frankincense is we can actually get it for free this month, which is wild to me because it is so rare and so powerful, and it's not cheap because it takes a lot of labor to get this oil. But we can get it for free with a 200 PV order in December. So look at the top uses for frankincense. That should tell you why you need it. We want healthy cells. We want healthy cell turnover. We want our skin to be supple and help with fine lines. We want our breast tissue to be healthy. Um, our mood to be elevated. It's a great mood elevator. So frankincense, 15 ml. I was out and about and went through a like panic attack in the grocery store, which has not happened to me in a very long time. And what I wanted more than anything was my frankincense, and I did not have it. And I felt like I was helpless because I didn't have it. If I would have had it, I would have been fine. And so I just had to like sit in the deli section and breathe to try to get through it. But this it's not gonna not be in my purse again. And so I'm like, every family needs a bottle of frankincense because when something what do you call it? Like panic, anxiety, like something really acute like that, frankincense calms your nervous system. And I just drop it right under my tongue, 2 to 3 drops. And in 5 to 15 minutes, you're going to feel your body relax and just move to a better state. In addition to all the other things that frankincense is good for. So, frankincense for everybody.
And I've done it also with it on the roof of my mouth when I was feeling super stressed, and I could feel within seconds just totally calming down. So that's another good one. Just and it's so cheap because you just tip the bottle like that. You don't even have a whole drop on your tongue and push it up to the roof of your mouth.
Yeah, that's another great way. Thank you, Wendy. Yeah, so easy to use, quick, fast acting. All right, so we've made it like halfway, and it's been an hour. So I thought it was gonna go faster than this. All right. How in depth do you guys want to go, or are you guys done? Let me know. Who wants to stay on?
I just got on, so I'm here.
You're good. Well, how about this? Because it's going to be recorded. I'll keep talking. If you have to go, I totally understand. But yeah, we used to do this workshop in person and it was 2 hours. But we were like labeling and stickering because the book didn't used to have the blend names in there. And so we'd have to use stickers for all of them. And that took like half an hour. So I thought it was going to be quicker, the fact that we didn't have to do that. Anyways, okay, so we're going to move on. If you
Yeah,
got no worries.
I'll catch the rest on the video. I do have to go.
Okay, bye, Mary. I know it's late, you East Coasters.
Bye. See you later.
Bye, hon. Okay, so page 298, focus areas. This is where it gets into body systems. You can see all the different body systems there. So if you know what you're looking for, that's your key to get there. All right. One I wanted to show you is okay, we're gonna look at addictions. So the first one starts on page 302. And top solutions under addictions, you can see the oil recommendations there. So I think that's really helpful. If you're working with someone who is going through an addiction process, then this might be a good clue as to what oils you might want to try to use for them and why. And you can pick things out and try it with them because it's going to be different for everybody because the root of their addiction is going to be different for everybody. So is it because they have low dopamine levels? Is it because they've got negative thought patterns? Is it because they have a low sense of self-worth? Like those are going to be the different reasons you would pull for the different oils. But if you look on page 304, I just want to show you this one at the top, dopamine boost, because what they're finding now with all the social media, is it is creating a major dopamine challenge for teenagers. And that's why they're so severely depressed. Because if they're not getting a ping or a like or a something, their dopamine now that has been triggered to be titillated every few seconds doesn't know how to cope. And so if you are trying to do any kind of social media detox with them, a great support would be adding in a dopamine boost because it will make the withdrawals from it less, which is crazy that we had to talk about it, but it's happening. Okay, the next section is allergies. So what I do with this section, you know your family and your circumstances. Whatever sections you feel like, oh, I'm going to be in there a lot, those are probably ones that you want to put tabs on so you can get there quickly. Allergies we talked about, so we're going to keep moving along. Then it talks about athletes and autoimmune. So in the autoimmune section on page 316, there is a critical supplementation program, just like they had for the nerves. But this is for autoimmune. So anybody dealing with autoimmune, this is part of that core nutrition that their body needs in order for it to be fighting against what it's got going on. And then there are protocols for things like Hashimoto's, lupus, scleroderma that you can find in there. Next is blood sugar. So in there, they've got a high blood sugar reducer blend and a blood sugar and pancreas support. So that might, if you know someone who's got blood sugar issues, that could be something that they work on. There's also a neuropathy neutralizer. That's one that we get asked about a lot. So the blood sugar section is cool. So every section has the top oils, it's got protocols, and then it has conditions like you see on page 321. That's a really useful section because that's where you kind of think about the exact person that you're wanting to help or yourself, and you look at what's going on. So if like I knew I had a blood sugar issue, but I also knew that it's probably because my kidneys aren't doing that great, then I'm going to want something that's got lemon, lemongrass, and oregano to address the kidneys. So that's going to start pointing me towards what blends I might look for the body system that, or a body part that I'm also trying to work on. The next section is the brain. We went through that. Then after that is Candida. There's a ton of information on Candida. I'm sure you guys have heard about Candida by this point. It is naturally occurring in our body. It is what decomposes dead tissue. And just because of our modern day sugar eating practices and antibiotic use, most of us have a Candida overgrowth, and that leads to a whole system of problems for the body. So this will walk you through ways to address Candida.
Hey, Beth.
Huh?
I've never seen this much on Candida before.
Right? Seriously.
Simple treatment, monthly protocol, quarterly maintenance cleanse. You know, when you have a bad case of Candida, most people think it's just like one-time treatment or a serious, like, series of treatments over months. But this is it's a lifelong type of thing that you totally have to address, right? So this is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought so too. I'm like, I don't remember this many recipes. I think that section has grown. And Joan said Candida and cancer are husband and wife. That's why it's so important. Okay, next section is cardiovascular. So this is an important one. There's so many heart and circulatory issues going on with people these days. And I really like the chart on page 332. So if you've got someone that they know they have heart issues and they're prone to fainting, it'll show you what oils would be good for that. If they've got gangrene going on because of the circulation problems, what oils would be good for high blood pressure? All of that is in here. So that's how these charts work. It'll talk about a condition and then it'll list all the oils that have constituents that help with that issue, and you just use what you have. And if you're like, okay, the black pepper was great, but I really want to try the copaiba, then you try the copaiba. Anything that's on that list. There's hemorrhoid support in there, cholesterol recipes. I know someone was asking about cholesterol. So it has a cholesterol fighter and a buildup buster and aneurysm support and prevention, blood clot support. Those are all important ones. Okay, the next section you're probably all going to want to tab That is cellular health. Do you know what they're referring to when they say cellular health? Put it in the chat. That's our code word. Cancer. Yes, Liliana. The big C. So this is such an important section. So you can tell the conditions page when it talks about, I mean, this is great, right? Someone lets you know, like, we want to keep the pancreas healthy. You know, we got a diagnosis of something. There's something funny looking in there. What should we use? You know what oils work well for that that part of the body to help with healthy cell turnover. So this is a great, really important chart to refer to. Oh yeah, here it is. Page 338. This is the cellular health program. This is for anybody who knows that they're fighting something. This is a really healthy thing to be on each day that's going to give your body nutrition, the probiotics, digestive support, and detoxing with the Revitazen at the same time. So this is a really important section. If you know that you're prone to stuff runs in your family, or if you know someone who's got, their stage 1, 2, 3, or 4, it doesn't matter. Like anybody could do it, but if you know you've got something compromised going on, then this is where you want to hang out and then use the oils from your section that affect the body part that needs support.
Beth, may I say something?
Yeah.
Do you mind? I started about 18 years ago with pancreatic lesions, the IPMNs, and Rochelle had found doTERRA for me, and she got me on everything. I have gone all these years, a few little glitches last year due to the mold exposure in our houses, but I have been stable, thank God, from everything I've done with doTERRA. So I am so grateful. And now with the Revitazen, I'll be incorporating that as well. And I think I just am totally grateful to doTERRA. So it's really helped me. I had 5 lesions and I'm down to 2, and they're basically shrinking as the years go by. So my doctors are very surprised. So it does work. It's wonderful products.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, truly is.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for listening.
Incredible. Okay. The next section is on children. This is a great one. If you have littles, you're definitely going to want to tag this. It talks about earaches and bedwetting, fever, teething pain, all the things. So that's a great section. A lot of recipes in here. Earache rescue, lights out. That helps calm them down, go to sleep. I think we used to call that peaceful child. And now it's called Lights Out, but that's a great blend. Great gift if you've got a mom who's at her wit's end with a little one. Pink Eye Resolve, that's a good one. And then the kids lifestyle section, I thought that was so cool. Page 344. So it just gives like moms ideas, like how can I incorporate this throughout their day? The morning wake up, morning nourishment, picky eater, calming fears, soothing before bedtime, homework focus. So just like a whole day's worth of ideas, and then they can just utilize the ones that are important in their household. Thought that list was really cool. Then on page 346, it breaks down all the kids' oils. So I don't know if you guys have them. They're not just for kids. They were formulated for kids because they're all pre-diluted and they contain a lighter scent profile. That's how they were made. But any of us can use them. I love Brave and Steady. Those are 2 of my favorites. But it just kind of breaks down each of between Stronger, Brave, Thinker, Steady, Calmer, Rescuer, and Tamer, how they work for the kiddos and us. Next section's detoxification. It's got some heavy metal detox recipes, which a lot of people always ask about. And then page 352 talks about castor oil. So that was one of our releases this year that we were so thrilled with. Castor oil is phenomenal for helping the lymph system and helping the body detox. So it explains how you can do castor oil packing and oil pulling which is really good for gum health. If you guys haven't tried that yet, or you have anyone that's teeth give them issues, oil pulling, you just do it while you watch TV and then spit it out in the trash, and really helpful for your gums. Then digestive system, great recipes in there like IBS relief, gallbladder, constipation. And then it goes through all kinds of conditions. So, like you can say hemorrhoids, heartburn, liver, like this is a really great section because our digestive system like rules all. So it's really important when it's in balance. And then it covers eating disorders, and it's got some recipes in there. There's a dopamine boost recipe, body reconnection blend. And then your endocrine system, which is our hormone and glands system. And it's very important, but there's also a section on women's health that has recipes too. But endocrine's going to address like your adrenals. There's some good adrenal blends in there that you can apply topically over your adrenals. Your adrenals sit on top of your kidneys and they get taxed from stress and doing too much all the time and tons of caffeine. So a lot of times if you're trying to get a kid off of tons of energy drinks, their adrenals are going to be crashed and they're going to need some support. They're going to feel exhausted and be like, I can't get off this caffeine. I need it. Well, their adrenals are like at a zero. So they're going to need some help boosting them back up, which is going to take some time and some love, but it can happen. And then the oils are just going to accelerate that process. Energy and vitality section, and then first aid. That's probably one that you want to tab. It's got a lot of recipes in there for all kinds of different conditions: food poisoning, bruising, bites, nosebleeds, poison ivy, all of that's in there. Focus and concentration has some really great recipes. ADHD support. That was a cool one. On page 376, there's a lot of really great blends for like mental refresh, clarity and confidence, mellow out, fidget fixer, some really cool blends to try. And those are easy to make. Like you can make a blend and give it to someone and it doesn't cost much and it just uses a few drops of oils, but can literally change someone's experience. Okay, on page 377, it gets into our immune and lymphatic system. This is such an important system of our body. And it reiterates that point on the second half of the page. If the cells don't have the energy they need to provide critical safeguards for the body, pathogens can more easily penetrate and multiply. That's why it's so important that we are addressing that cellular energy, which we're doing with the VMG and the probiotics and all our other good stuff. But it's got recipes in there for Lyme disease. That is something that people who struggle with that is a challenge. It attacks your system hardcore. So there's some good blends in there that would be some great remedies for them. Cold and flu tonics in there. And then when it goes through the body, strep, tonsillitis, MRSA, all kinds of stuff. And then integumentary, which is our hair, skin, and nails. So if you've got anyone with skin issues going on, and it's got some great recipes in there too: acne relief spray, eczema relief, nail growth. Section on intimacy. So as I was flipping through that, I was like, oh, February is coming and that's when everybody's thinking about love. So you could, make up some fun DIYs and gifts and stuff, but they've got some massage oils and roll-ons and lubrication and all bubble bath, all kinds of fun stuff. Then your limbic system, which is our brain. It's very important. So there's some good topics in there. Antidepressant, nightmares, PTSD, bipolar. That is a section if you've got someone that's going through that's a challenge, or if they're caregiving for someone who does. This could really be a useful area for them, because when someone's caregiving for someone that's going through a time like this, it's taxing more on the caregiver sometimes, because sometimes the person going through it, doesn't even realize. So it would be a nice gift for them to have some support and help. Then men's health. And on page 398, there's a prostate relief blend there that is really important. That is something that all men deal with at some point in some way, to some level, And that clary sage thyme juniper berry capsule, I was just with Laura Jacobs last week, and she was saying every guy should be taking that 2 drops twice a day. 2 drops of each twice a day. And it's clary sage thyme and juniper berry. Just helps with prostate health. Muscular system, nervous system, oral health. You guys can flip through the rest of this. Those were the biggest areas that I wanted to cover. And then it gets into recipes in the back. There's some there's a salad dressing in there that I like. It's like a citrus vinaigrette. There's lemon
Is there
mark.
osteoporosis in here?
Yes, I would not. I'd have to look at which section. Let's see. So let's look. Hold on. That, if I was gonna look for that, I would go to the back. So in the very back, it's gonna have the index. Okay, so if you look on page 348, it'll show you every page where osteoporosis is referenced. 348. So just for time, I won't take everyone through there, but that's great. And that's something that we got asked about a lot. And it'll take you to like the single oils that can affect that, the body system pages, probably some part of the A to Z guide. It's just going to take you to every part of the book where osteoporosis is referenced.
Can I mention that in that fast start at the beginning part, it's under osteoporosis, it goes to the skeletal section.
Okay. There you go. Thank you, hon. Skeletal.
Under 348, I have detoxification.
Did I say, hold on. I meant
I think you meant 438.
548. I'm not tired. I meant 548. Sorry. You're gonna
I'm
see.
at 548. So I was wondering, that's what I'm like, maybe I'm like crazy. I don't know. I want to make sure. Oh, I see it. Okay, now I see it.
Yeah.
103, 203, 277. Okay.
Yeah. So you can look through, and then whatever you find and like put together, like please post about that. That would be cool. Cool. Okay.
I will.
That is it. What do you guys think of this book? Isn't it so fun?
I think it's one of the best books I've seen.
They added so much. It's so cool.
Yes, my question was, do you know why they didn't put Gardenia Touch in here? That's the only oil I didn't find.
You know, was like a LTO, and they don't have all of those in here because it's not available all the time. Hi, Teresa. I see your message. I'll reach out to you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Have a good night.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, so wrapping up, I'll wrap up in just a second. Do you guys have anything you want to say before we're done?
Thank you for doing this.
Yeah,
This was fantastic.
I'm happy.
Really good.
Yeah,
Thank you
I
so
feel
much.
like it can be a little bit intimidating if you don't know how to use it, or you can miss stuff if you don't know how to use it.
Well, I'm just glad you mentioned to get it and to do this so that I kind of felt forced in myself. Not that you forced, but I forced myself. You disappeared. To get the book. And normally I just go to an app, but this is phenomenal.
Yeah, the apps are great. Like when we're out and about, super convenient traveling. I obviously don't travel with this, right? But like at home, if people are messaging me, this is what I'm in. I like big books and I cannot lie. Yes, Yvette. For real. I love it. Okay, so for all of you who stayed on with us, thank you so much. A couple things. One is every Friday in January, Mapawana is teaching the Wellness Made Simple class at 3:30 Pacific time on Zoom. And that walks us through the VMG and probiotics and the omegas. Those are the things that turn the lights on in our body. And so you get to learn about how to take them and what they're for, and then some of our most commonly used oils. So that's happening every Friday in January. Great thing for new people too.
I was going to say, is this just for advocates or is it for customers as well?
Yeah, for customers. Yep, everybody.
The invitation will be posted in Return to Wellness, as well as some of our Instagram pages. So if you're following me, Beth, Joan, Jenny, you'll see the invitation and you'll be able to get all the information to join.
Perfect. Yeah, Joan says oils open the pathways and the vitamins feed them. Yes, absolutely. So that's on Friday. Was there anything else? Let's see. Okay, I think that's it. Remember, you can get a free Frank this month with a 200 PV order. And now we're going to raffle off 3 scans because I have been having so much fun doing this. I have done it with some people recently that I didn't know exactly the whole story of what was going on with them. But when I read their scan to them, like what I see, because it kind of puts together a picture for me, I've been doing it long enough. They were amazed because it's exactly how they were feeling and they hadn't told me yet. They just, were not feeling well and it got into the nitty-gritty of what was happening. So, it is done remotely. You use your own phone. It's like crazy cool technology. And so Mapu's going to pick 3 winners and you're going to get a scan.
So the first winner is Pamela. I don't know that she's still with us, but we'll go ahead and reach out to her. If you invited her, then go ahead and reach out to her as well to let her know that she's a winner. The second winner is Teresa.
Oh, perfect. She'll love that. Awesome.
So you're keeping track of this, right, Beth? Okay, and we're going to spin one more time. And the third winner is Wendy.
Was there 2 Wendy's on or is it
There's
just
2 Wendy's on.
Okay, which Wendy is it, girl?
Wendy D, I put.
Okay.
Oh.
Are they both
Wendy's?
Just
No,
one?
they're somebody else.
Okay.
Woohoo.
All right. Well, that's the end for us. Let me stop the recording.
How can we access the recording? Because I know that someone couldn't make it on tonight.